Well, back there on Friday, I watched the live action Mulan, and what can I say is, apart from the fact I absolutely loved it. This is a live action remake I've actually been really excited to see because I loved the original cartoon Mulan, so I was really excited about this one. And I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was a triumph of storytelling, of character building, and it does something new with the story and yet still beautifully plays homage to the original animated classic. This is going to be my Mulan review, and sorry, I've got my notes here so I don't get mixed up. Okay, so without a doubt now, this has become my favourite Disney live action. So sorry, Jungle Book, it looks like you're going to have to go to second place. But anyway, when this movie was announced, when they were getting ready to go, they'd said that this movie was going to go in a completely different direction. They'd said there was going to be no music, no Mushu, and no Shang. And fans were really disappointed, the amount of stuff you saw on Twitter, oh, how can it be the same? It won't be the same, where's the Red Dragon? People were saying it's not going to be the same. I, however, I decided to be a little more open-minded and decided that I actually was interested in how they were going to take this movie in a different direction and yet still stay in touch with what the original animated movie was all about in terms of story and character. So I sort of decided to be a little more open-minded. So I wanted to see how this story would play out differently without a lot of the elements from the original animation. And in all honesty, I think going somewhere new was a better idea than a shot-for-shot remake, complete shot-for-shot remake of the original film. Yes, live-action Lion King, we are looking directly at you. A shot-for-shot remake, it does not work. Doing something different, I think, was the best way to go. So now I'm going to get into performances. I hope I pronounced this right. Li Fei, I thought, was perfectly cast as Mulan. She embodied all those elements about the character. The spirit, the courage, the determination, but above all, that reluctance, that vulnerability, that self-development throughout the film in order to achieve her full potential as a warrior. And one thing I loved about this thing I liked was how in this version, her warrior abilities are established very early on from a very young age, and they are encouraged and nurtured by her father, who, as we all know, is a former soldier of the Chinese army. So he encourages those abilities and sort of teaches her the ways, whilst her mother looks on very disapprovingly. And eventually, as she gets older, he sort of has to, because I think she is sort of fond of the idea, she actually would love to be a warrior, but he is sort of, as she gets older, he has to sit down with her and say, I'm sorry, Mulan, I'm sorry to dash your hopes, but that's not going to happen, because it is the sons who bring honour to the family through battle and as a warrior. It is the woman's job to bring honour to the family through a worthy marriage. And the marriage, okay. And so throughout that, Mulan is constantly told to know her place and to stop the place and to try and to do what is right and to bring honour to the family through marriage. So you sort of actually feel real empathy for when after she's told about the spontaneous match, she says, yes, I will bring honour to us all. And even though she wants to do what's right by her family, she still wants to do what she would like. Not in a selfish way, but she would still like a chance to achieve her own potential. And that comes in when, as we all know, after a rather disastrous meeting with the matchmaker, sorry, no spoilers, the officials of the Emperor arrive and say, we require one man from each family to serve in the army. And as we all know, Mulan's father is too weak, he's not strong enough. Any battle would finish him off, it would basically be the end of him. So Mulan decides to salvage her family's honour and to protect her father, who she loves dearly. She decides to take his armour and become a soldier herself. And that is very risky, because back then, because as the father says, if she's not killed in battle, if our people find out who she is a woman, they will kill her. So it's a sort of a Hobson's choice situation. But anyway, so as we all know, she takes the armour and goes off to become a soldier. And okay, so she disguises herself as a young male soldier called, sorry, I hope I pronounce this rightly, Ha Jin. And I think it is her progression as a warrior that is the most beautiful part of her character development, because because she soon learns, like, she trains hard and she masters her ability. She, like, as we see in the scene when she's carrying the water up the mountain, she masters her ability. She is getting there, and as her her superiors tell her, the spirit is there, it's evident, but something is holding you back. And Mulan finds this herself, and she realizes that the only way that she can fully embody her and achieve her full potential as a warrior is to not hide behind a disguise and not be Ha-Jin the warrior, but be Mulan the warrior. And that moment, I just thought that was so amazing. Like and she has that whole thing about being yourself, not hiding behind a facade, but being yourself. That, I think, is a beautiful message throughout the film, and is relatable not just in terms of the story, but I think it makes Mulan herself such a relatable character, because the whole theme of being yourself is such a relevant theme in modern day society. Okay, now I also want to talk about the addition of a new villain character, the witch, Zhang Lang, played by Gong Li, who in actual fact is similar to Mulan. She's like the perfect foil because she too chooses to be something. She too is sort of ostracized by society because she has magic powers, she is different, and is outcast by that because of that. And because of that. So she too, like Mulan, wants to find a place where she will be seen as an equal and not just as an outcast. And that makes her a perfect foil for Mulan. But the difference is Mulan wants to achieve her goal through honor and the good way, whereas the witch, I don't want to call the witch, Zhang Ling wants to achieve it through any means necessary, even if that means teaming up and still being treated inferiorly by Bori Khan, the villain, who is played by Jason Scott Lee. I feel we could have done with a bit more of Jason Scott Lee's presence. I feel he didn't get enough screen time or development. That's one thing I would say. I just felt his character could have done with a little bit more development. Okay. And also I wanted to talk about other performances. Mulan, sort of the replacement for the Shang character, Mulan's love interest, as they call her, is Yosan An, who plays Shen Hongwei. I think that's how you pronounce it. I know he's supposed to be her love interest, but that's not really the way I saw it. I saw it as more a thing of two comrades fighting together who inspire each other. He inspires Mulan when he doesn't know she's a woman. He says, because Mulan is isolating herself slightly because she's terrified of being discovered, he tells her, you can turn your back on us. You can turn your back on me, but don't turn your back on us, on your fellow soldiers. So it's all about inspiring each other, and that's what I loved about it. And even when she is revealed as a woman and he finds that out, he's not shocked or disgusted. Like, he tells everyone and says, we stood by, and sort of actually, no, this is actually a reference to a very good line from the animated movie. He says, we trust Ha-Jin, why don't we trust Mulan? So even though she's a woman, he respects her for daring to defy the gender norms of that society and for fighting, and he acknowledges her as a great warrior, and I loved that. And the last performance I want to talk about is the character Commander Tong, who is played by Donnie Yen. Like, he's this wise character who guides, is like a mentor for Mulan, and sort of like, as I've said, like he says, the spirit is there, but something is holding you back. And when she does take control of that, even when he does find out she's a woman, he's furious and tells her, you've dishonoured your family, you've dishonoured the army. But later on, he admits to her and says, yes, you have dishonoured the Chinese army, you have broken the norms of this society, but you are a brilliant warrior, and I would like it if you would lead us to this final battle. And I loved that. That shot of Mulan leading the warriors to the Imperial City, that was everything. I loved that. It was beautiful. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit choked up here. Okay, so one other thing about the story is it does adopt, unlike the other live actions, it adopts a more serious tone, but still is an offering for all the family. There's something there for all the family. Like, I mean, you have the themes of self-courage, self-development and determination, and then you have a lot of the action, the battle sequences. The battle sequences, oh my god, they were amazing. There's some brilliant ones with Mulan. I love the battle scenes. They were brilliant. I love them. They were so well choreographed. And really another thing, one other thing about the film is there was so many richness and colour and all that. I loved all of that throughout the film. Okay, and another thing about this film was, as I just said, there was a bit of a more serious tone. And I actually liked that, because nowadays, with properties like Frozen and Tangled, Disney are firmly staying strictly within the family-friendly, safe waters. Excuse me. But it was actually really good to see them sort of break that a little bit and go back to that more serious tone that we would have seen more of in the Disney Renaissance. So I like that sort of going to that more serious tone, sort of going beyond the whole family-friendly thing. I loved that. Now, the thing is, one other thing I will say is the humour is not as present as it was in the animated film. It chooses to focus more on Mulan's journey and her development as a character. And I can live with that, because rather than cringe-worthy, ridiculous humour, crude her humour that would just wouldn't work, would just be cringe-worthy to watch. Like there's some of that in some of the live-action Disney movies, and you're just like, oh my god, why did they have to put that in? It's gross and disgusting. But no, I loved how they focused more on Mulan. Okay, and last few things I want to talk about is, whilst this film did take a different direction, it still paid homage to the original animated classic in a number of ways. So I'm just going to quickly, briefly go through those. It still had the characters of Ling, Jianpo and Lao, and whilst they were not as evident as strong characters as they were in the animated, they are still there. And just like the Shang style character, I forgot his name, sorry, Chen Hongwei, even when they find out Mulan is a woman, they're not shocked. They still want to stand and fight by her, and they valiantly go into battle with her. And that I thought was absolutely beautiful. The fact they still want to go into battle with her. Okay. There was also the Avalanche Scene, just like in the animated movie, in which Mulan causes an avalanche to defeat Bori Khan's army, like with Shan Yu in the animated film. So I liked how they did that. And then you also, another way they paid more evidence to the animated movie was through the musical cues, like going to the matchmaker, you've got a few bars of Bring Honor to Us All, and then in the train scene, which you've got a few bars of Make a Man Out of You. But the best way they paid homage to the original was through the continuous, it was present more than once, was the instrumental theme of Reflection. The music of Reflection plays at critical moments of Mulan's journey throughout the film, and I loved that. I loved those moments. Like there were one or two that actually made me want to start crying, because it's like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. I love how they're doing this. Okay, and it's sort of, this music sort of, as I said, is in line with Mulan's journey and how she's taking the risk to defy the norms of her society and find her own place. And I loved how they did that. I'm not going to spoil, I'm not going to tell you where those moments are. You'll just have to find out for yourself. But there is one key moment I think that you will all really love when it comes. And finally, one more thing is, the film also at the very end includes a cameo appearance from Ming Na Wen, who voiced Mulan in the original animated movie. It's at the end when Mulan is being presented to the Emperor, and she says, "Your Majesty, I present to you Fa Mulan." And it's like a bit of, it's like almost like a moment of passing the torch. It's like a beautiful passing the torch moment between two Mulans. I loved that. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. So overall, guys, the live action Mulan, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. Very good. 10 out of 10 stars. There's so much to it. Like, it's all about character development and... I've lost my train of thought. It's about character development and being yourself, which were beautiful themes throughout the movie. And it's got richness and colour and amazing anime and amazing battle sequences and a story that still pays tribute to its animated predecessor but brings something new to the table. So overall, I highly suggest you check out the live action Mulan. You will not be disappointed.